right? So, yeah. So you must understand though that if you look at the secular humanist philosophy and you compare it with some of the writings of the Church of Satan, for instance, their aims, their whole secular humanist philosophy, you will find overlaps. You will find overlap. Now, Gramsci. Any comments from you before I go on, Thaddeus?
Nope.
Yeah. So Gramsci, cultural Marxist architect. So this is the guy that is responsible for intersectionality and cultural Marxism. Let's see what he says. Socialism is precisely the religion that must overwhelm Christianity. In the new order, socialism will triumph by first capturing the culture via infiltration of schools, universities, churches, and the media by transforming the consciousness of society. Sounds like they're trying to control society. It sounds like they're trying to program people. Emmanuel Shahid, hey, welcome, buddy. Now, that's Antonio Gramsci, and he was a humanist. He was also a Marxist socialist. In fact, he was a humanist Marxist, humanist socialist Marxist, whatever, you take your pick. Now, Gramsci's theories underpin intersectionality and cultural Marxism. He's the guy, he's the architect of this whole idea. It works to dismantle existing culture by ideological subversion and opposition. So understand, socialism, along with its philosophies, are designed to subvert and oppose. There's someone called the opposer in the Bible. Do you know who that was, Thaddeus?
Yeah, that might be Satan.
Oh, good grief, I knew the name. It was on the tip of my tongue. So they are challenging, now notice, they want to challenge the legitimacy of existing institutions like family, religion, and political power. The legitimacy of family, the family is illegitimate. Oh my golly, that's weird. Okay. Now, Saul Alinsky describes the modus operandi in Rules for Radicals. So those who want to change the world from what it is to what they believe it should be. So this is a moral imperative for them. They don't like the world, they want to change it. Right? They don't like what there is. So anyway, so he says now the Rules for Radicals written for the have-nots on how to take it away. Right? Take power away for themselves. Right? So now, let's have a look. Now, of course, you've got this is he has the prison notebooks. He's a humanist reconstruction of Marxism. So he was in prison too, like a certain Mr. Hitler. So yeah, he spent time in prison and he wrote a bunch of books, and he's a humanist Marxist, right? So now let's have a look at the Confession of Commie Faith. Give a little thought to the Communist Confession of Faith. I think we would do best to abandon the catechetical form and call the thing Communist Manifesto. This is Engels written to Marx on 24th November 1847. So did you know that the Communist Manifesto was originally called the Communist Confession of Faith? Why?
Yeah, I had no idea.
Because it was a religion. Because socialism is a religion. Communism is a religion. You need to understand this. And don't forget, these are atheists. These are hardcore atheists. Right? The Communist Confession of Faith. So, catechetical, what does that mean? Okay, it's religious instruction given in preparation for Christian baptism or confirmation. Religious teaching by means of questions and answers. What do you take away from this, Thaddeus?
Yeah, well, I think it's pretty clear that the founders of the socialist communist movement saw themselves as replacing Christianity. And they didn't say that they were, getting rid of religion per se. They said they are creating a new religion. They are putting something else in its place. And that quote from the previous slide, where it's like, we need to infiltrate the universities and the schools and the politics. Well, isn't that exactly what we see has happened? That they've targeted the media, they've targeted the schools. Teach the kids from an early age that everyone is equal, that you can be whatever you want to be.
Which is a satanic credo as well.
Right, and we protect the school from any influence by the church. You get rid of any sort of moral values by getting rid of the church. If someone wants to have moral values in school, they'll say, you can't teach your religion in our school.
Well, but socialist, atheist, humanist is a religion. So they're teaching their religion. It's become a de facto state-endorsed religion.
Yeah, and they're absolutely replacing moral values. I mean, you can't be devoid of moral values. They just replace it with different values.
Values, correct.
This value of you're not allowed to question anyone. You're not allowed to say that someone else is wrong. Yeah. Unless, of course, you're telling us that what we believe is wrong. Then you're wrong.
Yeah. So this is now James Lindsay. So he says that Marxist. Now he's probably the best known expert. He's the top expert on Gramsci and cultural Marxism today. And he writes, Marxist communism is not an extension or logical conclusion of liberalism. It is a Gnostic mystery religion, made of an inversion of Christianity, retooled into a form of magical alchemy, passing itself off as the science. Now, this is 100% correct, right? This is very much Gnostic. It is very much a ripoff of Christianity, and alchemy happens to be another Islamic term. It's another Islamic occult practice, right? Passing itself off as the science. I know of religion that has a lot of sciences, the religious sciences. Oh my gosh, it's Islam. They have a lot of religious sciences, and now you've got another religious science as well. That's fascinating. But we will get into all of this, okay? So that's James Lindsay, for those of you who don't know. And he's an atheist, by the way. As far as I know, he's an atheist. He's a hardcore atheist. So this is what he's telling us about Marxist religion. Now we look at, this is 1971, and we have a psychologist called Skinner. And he tells us that we can no longer afford freedom. At least you can't afford freedom. He can. That's different. He's one of the ruling people. But no freedom for you. And he said, we must design our culture to shape the behavior needed. I believe this is called mind control. Isn't this... atheists are always saying religion is designed to control. But it looks like these guys, these atheist socialists, are very, very busy trying to control society, shape society, transform society. Right, and so let's have a look. This book was a bestseller, and he recommended abolition of the family unit. So he recommended destroying the family. So hold on, okay, we're going to see more about that. Now, science has enabled current moral and social degeneracy, which is scientific atheism and humanism at work. Now, his book was a bestseller. 1971, he argued that entrenched belief in free will and the moral autonomy of the individual, so you having the freedom to make your own choices within the realms of the law to maintain order, right? But having free will hinders the prospect of using scientific methods to modify behavior for the purpose of building a happier and better organized utopian society. Doesn't that just sound beautiful, Thaddeus? What are your thoughts?
Oh yeah, I mean, it sounds wonderful. It always sounds wonderful. I mean, no one's going to say that things are going to not work out. But we're going to see in a minute that they have no basis for believing this. They just believe it blindly without evidence, or even in contradiction to the evidence.
So this is oppressive and this is totalitarian, because they need to remove your free will. They need to tell you what to do to build a perfect society. Now notice, he saw free will as a miraculous event. He believed science was opposed to any kind of miracles because, you see, you don't have a soul.